Hi, it's Jan Roberts again from Key Leadership Institute, and I'm here in, again, sunny South Africa. And last week, I mean, it's actually already a week ago, how time flies even when you're losing days. And I had a few questions last week, quite a few actually, and I thought, as I just wondered if I was the only one asking the questions. I know I'm not the only one, but I hope a few more of you have started to ask similar kind of questions. Because there's one thing for sure about asking questions. You only get answers to the questions you ask. And since last week there has been a few things that have happened, and it's not all even related to this virus. But about the virus I had another few thoughts, and one of them was, how we are all probably in over 2 months now in this lockdown, and there is light at the end of that tunnel as well, at least for just now. They're trying to scare us into a second wave and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, at least maybe we're getting going again. I still wonder, and it's a question as well, do you really think that was the best decision ever taken, at least for the long term? And then I thought, even when you're sitting at home, and when all of us are sitting at home, and we're always talking about habits take, 21 days, some of them say 66 days, but I think nearly every one of us has at least been at home for 66 days. So, is there another possibility, and this is just a thought again, is there another possibility that this lockdown was so long, and maybe even longer, that while we're sitting at home, we have created new habits for ourselves? New behavior patterns that we're now so getting used to that it'll probably be difficult to get out to, and that's why they're habits. Just another thought, but is there another link? And maybe I'm a little bit skeptical, but as I said, I only get questions, answers to the questions you ask. And then another question about this whole idea. Somebody sent me a little video, and maybe some of you already know that hydrochloroquine was hugely disputed as a plausible relief and maybe even a cure to the coronavirus. But certainly people who get it, they were saying at the time that it actually cures them. And people were fighting it in high positions. Again, is there links for alternative motives? It's again a question. I'm not giving you the answers. I mean, I would like you to look for answers and come up with your own ones. And if it's not the same as mine, I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I speak from my truth. So if you have other answers and if you have other ideas, I love that you discuss with each other and with me below this post. And as I always say, as long as you stay polite and answer with respect. The minute you don't do, I will remove you. If you don't remove yourself, I will. I promise you that. But I have great respect for anybody having an opinion, everybody having a different perception. But I mean, hydrochloroquine, for example. Now I'm hearing more and more that these have been tested by some doctors up to 700 times. In fact, I posted that post this morning, and that they've been tested so many times, completely, hugely successful. Dozens, if not hundreds, of tests have been done around the world now on human beings with the coronavirus, and the success has been amazing. Yet we're fighting, in 100 labs, they're fighting to get a vaccine into our arms. Why? And hydrochloroquine, they had some other medicine which was much more expensive, and it only shortened the disease time by a few days. So it wasn't even that successful, which was very expensive. Hydrochloroquine is a very cheap medicine, and yet why this should be all over the news, people. If people made mistakes before because they thought it wasn't, because again steered by media and specialists with ulterior motives, then that's fine. But if, as it is now been proven that it's more and more successful, why don't we see it in media? I mean, I've got no newspapers and I have got no television, but I know from other people that this is not on the media. Then there is a little country, Senegal. You might have heard of this country. It's in Africa. In Africa, they have created $1 testing kits. $1. So why don't we take? Why doesn't the WHO advertise these kits and all these other health organizations, the CDC, the FDA, the CDC in Europe, and all these all the health authorities? Why don't they advertise a $1 kit? Which they've had much practice with Ebola and SARS and all that kind of stuff. Why don't we listen to them? Why don't we take examples from them? They've also got, not only that, they've got a $60 ventilator rather than the $600 plus ventilators. They did a 3D printer making these things. What is the problem? Why do we need to look for expensive options and long term on we're talking vaccines? And I don't talk vaccines anymore because I don't need them. I don't think many people need them. If we can see what happened in countries I mentioned last week as well. Sweden, I've got a friend in Sweden. I talk to him every week, twice. I am really impressed by what is happening there. Yes, they take care of their old people and the infirm, which they made a mistake at the beginning, as I mentioned last week, but they take care of them. And this was the idea in the UK as well, until somebody said, Mr. Ferguson, that we're going to have at least 500,000 deaths in the UK alone. And he was wrong. But in that time we had total lockdown. Now, there is a lot of things happening around the world just now, and unfortunately racism has turned its ugly head again. You know, I'm white too, and I feel ashamed for what is happening. I think we have a lot to learn and a lot to do to better connect as human beings. Not white, not black, not yellow, not whatever, not Hindu, not Christian, not Muslim, as human beings. Regardless of our background, regardless of our history, our religion, our culture, we need to connect as human beings. And I hope this is one of the things it does here. So, I mean, there is a lot of questions, but how are you doing as far as connecting with human beings? Don't see the color or creed or whatever, just connecting as human beings. We need to obviously do so much more. I have no newspaper. I didn't see the video of what happened, but I heard what's happened and how upset people are getting of all denominations. And rightly so. This is hugely upsetting. And it's not that every policeman is bad, of course not. But there is bad in some people that comes out and it shows much more when these things happen. And it's frightening to see what is still happening. I mean, we're in South Africa just now. There's plenty happening at the moment here still too. Apartheid officially finished 26 years ago, but there's a long way to go. So that is a little bit about that. And I've got more questions for you today. You know, and as I said in the heading, you only get answers to the questions you ask. And I've been talking about asking questions out there, you know, from authorities, you know, because if you press in a question in Google, you'll get an answer to that question, you know. So what kind of questions do you ask yourself? Do you ever ask any questions of yourself? And I'm not saying meaning about, or asking the kind of questions to each other. Can you pass me the salt, or what pub we're going to go to, and then what time will we meet? No, not quality questions, because quality questions give quality answers. So what kind of questions are you asking of yourself? I mean, this is a wonderful time to actually really go inside yourself and take some stock and, you know, reflect so far, even on the crisis so far, and how you've developed or not. So what I would like you to do is to, you know, if you are not living to your potential, you don't even know what your potential is. You don't even know. You're so frustrated with everything, but what are you doing about it yourself? What kind of questions are you asking yourself to grow and develop yourself so you become better? And that you, as I said before, the only guarantee that we've got that tomorrow will be better is if we do something to improve ourselves today. As I said before, this is the new normal at the moment. We're opening up again. I hope that we don't have to close down again, because this has been so destructive for so many. I mean, suicide rates are going through are skyrocketing. Domestic abuse is skyrocketing. Fear and anger and anxiety in families and living on top of each other for the first such a long time, not just a couple hours a day. It has taken its toll. The long-term effects will not be known right now, but at least can we connect with the people? Can we connect on a human level? My partner, Arthur Moore, she's got a company called Celebrating Humanity International. And one of her statements every time is when we go and do a training about diversity and inclusion. And we should be inclusive of all. But one of the things she says, you know, first of all, at the level of respect, everybody is equal. And then she said, you know, the way you show respect to the person standing in front of you is a direct reflection on you and your character, not on them. So even if we don't like people, we need to show respect, and when they stand in front of us at least. And you know, if you want to gossip when they're away and all that, that is again a reflection on your character and the judgment you so needily provide. But we need to start asking better questions of ourselves. If we want better results for ourselves, if we want better results around us, you know, you've heard us saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Well, we need to become that change every single day. I do a talk about intentional living where, you know, we need to start living every day intentionally because, yes, the figures are hugely inflated and I still don't know why, but it still proves that we don't know if we have tomorrow. You know, we come from yesterday, we are here today, and then we need to know if we actually have a tomorrow. We're not guaranteed that. So what can you do today to improve yourself? And this is a big point because we all need so much work, me included, and I do something to improve myself every day, and I need to, because if I can become more, I can do more, and I can give more. And this is what makes the surroundings much better. This is what makes everybody around us more inclusive, and we need to learn a lot. I mean, again, what's happened recently, I'm sure it's hit all the headlines and all the newspapers, again, for the wrong reasons. We need to start hitting the newspapers for the right reason. Don't give the media nothing bad to talk about. Give them something good to talk about. Be that change. I keep saying it, you know, we need to pull together, not only at a time of crisis, but especially in a time of crisis. There is people standing up just now who are doing amazing things in the communities, in organizations, in countries, and there is some that do not so great things. And I'm not judging anybody because we all make mistakes, but it says we can all do better. Rather than judge everybody else for what they've done and what they're doing, look in the mirror and ask yourself the important questions. Ask yourself, how can I become better? How can I do better? And when you can answer those questions and actually write those things down and start following up on those kind of things, I'm sure we will all be able to do our bit. You might be sitting frustrated at home just now for whatever reason, but that frustration will not change. In fact, so many people at the moment are waiting to get inspired and get motivated by external forces. Now, here's another thought on that too. Would you like to get motivated? Would you like to get inspired? Find something that you would love to do. Start doing it. And because you do it, you probably enjoy it so much that you start getting motivated to do more. It has to come from within. Inspire comes from within. We need to draw things out of ourselves. I mean, our coaching, my friend and mentor Christian Simpson, he always talks about educo. Is a word that actually means to draw from within. So we all have. That's why there's more and more coaches to help, and I'm one as well, to help people to draw things out of them, not for me to tell them what to do, but to draw out of them what is needed. We're actually also, I'll do a separate video on that tomorrow probably about an amazing process. It's called values-based leadership, but it's actually a sustainable personal development, and I'll talk about it tomorrow because I would love people to join us on that journey. And that's a story all by itself. But what are you willing to do to improve yourself? What questions are you not asking yourself right now? And what answers, because of that, don't you get? Start asking yourself quality questions, and I can guarantee you will start getting quality answers. We all owe it to ourselves, we all owe it to the people around us, for us to grab this opportunity with both hands and to become that change, to be better, to give hope, to persevere, to really become more consistent in our daily habits of becoming better, because whatever habits we've acquired over the last two months that probably don't serve us coming out of this, we need to become much more aware of our habits, our values. What is your value system? Start asking yourself some better questions so you will get better answers. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to discussing with you. But my name is Jan Robberts from Key Leadership Institute from here in South Africa. I'll see you soon. Take care.